Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today I'm going to talk about the Emerald Tablet and how it applies to modern magic, to manifesting. And I'll also be tying this into the 3 books of occult philosophy of Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, which was a very important text written in the 16th century that really affected modern occultism in the West. So, what is the Emerald Tablet? The Emerald Tablet is a text that we have dated to around the 8th century. And this is a text that is often seen as a sort of key to unlock the secrets of magic and alchemy. So this is often seen as a sort of key to unlock the secrets. Okay. And it's often summed up in the words, as above, so below. It's really not that simple. In the Middle Ages, it was seen as the key to unlock the secrets of transmuting base metals into gold. So it was often seen as a key in alchemy for the great work, the Philosopher's Stone, transmuting metals. Again, today we'll be focusing more on magic, and again tying this to Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy. So, where does the emerald... We've already established that it's often seen as a sort of key to unlock the secrets of magic and alchemy. But where does it come from? The Emerald Tablet has been dated to around the 8th century. We see it in 2 early Arabic texts. We have the Kitab Sir al-Khalika, which was a text written by Jabir ibn Khayyan. And we also have the Kitab Sir al-Asrar, the Secret of Secrets, which was a 10th century Arabic text, translated into Latin in the 12th century as the Secretum Secretorum, which in Latin means the Secret of Secrets. Now, this was a very important text. Like I said, it was translated into Latin in the 12th century, and it was often seen as a key to the secrets of alchemy, and it is designed as a sort of treatise written by Aristotle to Alexander the Great. Whatever the case may be, we know that it dates to at least the 8th century. We don't know how much earlier than that. And the Secretum Secretorum, the Secret of Secrets, this text was very influential in the Middle Ages. It was a sort of textbook on occultism, on alchemy, magic, astrology, on the occult properties of different stones and herbs and their uses in magic and in healing. So anyways, I've got a translation of the text. There are several different translations, so we've established that it's often seen as a key to occultism, sort of a something that has to be decoded, okay? That it encrypts a secret that unlocks everything. And this has been very important in occult history. 1,000 years people have been pondering over this text. So there are several different translations. This is one of them. And so this is the text. One translation. Truth, certainty, that in which there is no doubt. That which is above is a reflection of that which is below, and that which is below is a reflection of that which is above, working the miracles of the one, as all things were born from this one thing by adaptation. Its father is the sun, its mother is the moon. The wind carries it in its belly. The earth is its nurse. The Father of all perfection in the world is here. Its power is complete if it be converted to earth. Separate the earth from fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from earth to heaven, and again it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and all obscurity shall fly from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid. So was the world created. Hence I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the three parts of the occult philosophy of the whole world. What I have said concerning the operation of the sun is finished. So, first of all, I think I'll talk about the most simple explanation you'll hear in the occult community. Now, this is the most simple way you'll hear it. As above, so below. As below, so above. Which you kind of get in your head a sort of six-pointed Star of David here, an upward-pointed triangle and a downward-pointing triangle, which is a very ancient symbol. Most people seem to take this to mean that the visible is a manifestation of the invisible, okay? That the physical world is a manifestation of the invisible. If you want to put it simply, if you throw something up, it falls back down. That's a law, it's gravity, right? Well, all our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings that we're sending out into the aether, so to speak, fall back down and manifest our reality. So, to put it into this whole kind of new age, law of attraction thing, thoughts manifest, or whatever you're sending out manifests. So if you imagine an invisible spiritual realm and the physical, we're constantly sending our thoughts, our emotions, our fears, our anger, our dreams, whatever we're sending out, our thoughts, our emotions, goes into the invisible realm, falls back down and manifests. So, back to what I said, all that is above is from that which is below, and all that is below is from that which is above, to the miracle of the one thing. Okay. Now, what is distillation? In alchemy, you could say that this is the interaction between the fixed and the volatile. Now, what does volatile and fixed mean? When you distill, distillation is a chemical process in alchemy. A distillation is when you'll heat a liquid. You'll have a liquid, okay, with a tube going up and something coming down in another bottle. Here you have a liquid, and it's heated, and it evaporates. As it cools the gas, it goes from a liquid to a gas. It evaporates, it goes down the tube, and it drips. Okay? This is distillation. And you see this a lot with the making of liquor, spirits, as they call it, alcohol. Because alcohol has It's really volatile. It evaporates really easily. So volatile means it evaporates real easy. Fixed means it won't hardly evaporate. So fixed and volatile, when you distill, whatever liquid's left in the glass, whatever liquid's left after this, the volatile part goes off is the fixed. So now the gas let off in alchemy was often referred to as the spirit, and the fixed is the body. So again, you see a correlation between the body and the spiritual energy we're sending out and falling back down into body. Now, you have nature's distillery right out there in the world. And of course, alchemy is based on nature. The heat of the sun evaporates the water. The water goes up into the clouds and then it rains. So you see distillation in nature. That's a good analogy for... We only see the body, but the spiritual things we're sending out, our thoughts, our feelings that we're sending out, the volatile, this is what's evaporating off of us and falling back down and manifesting. As above, so below. Now, going back to the text, all that is above is that which is below. That which is below is from that which is above. Okay, working the miracles of the one. Remember that analogy I gave about the sun heating the water and it evaporating and falling down to earth? It says its father is the sun, heat. Its mother is the moon, moisture. So heat and moisture. The wind carries it in its belly. It falls back down. The nurse is its earth. So you could see its father, the sun, the mother, the moon, the wind carries in its belly, the earth is its nurse. You see, it looks a lot like distillation. Now, if we doubt that it's saying anything about distillation, you go down a few lines, it says, separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense, sweetly with great industry. Separate the subtle from the dense. That's evaporation. Then it says, it ascends from the earth to heaven, and again it descends to the earth, receiving the force of things superior and inferior. Very clearly it's talking about, you have a fixed matter. This is evaporating off your thoughts, your ideas, whatever you're sending out, falling back down and manifesting. You throw up a rock, it comes down. In this context, magic is not so much about creating. Because we're always creating and manifesting our world, whether we realize it or not. Magic is about controlling what we're sending out. Or to use this law that's happening anyways. We're always creating. People say, I'd never cast a spell. How do you know you're not constantly creating? You're just doing it haphazardly. You're creating things you don't want all the time. This is using a law. Supposedly, using a law, a boomerang, we throw out comes back. Now, I've told you the most simple explanation in magic. You'll hear it a lot. Maybe not that detailed, but people say, as above, so below. What we're sending out in the universe comes back down and manifests. Of course, people also use it to mean that the microcosm, man, is a reflection of nature, and vice versa. That man is a little universe, the microcosmos. Which a lot of these are very ancient ideas. Now, how does this tie into Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy? Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa was a student of the abbot and philosopher Trithemius, and he was also a student of Ficino. So, and Marsilio Ficino, he was the one that brought Plato and Hermetic philosophy into Europe in the beginning of the 15th century. So you didn't have any Plato or any of the Hermetic texts in Latin. You may have a few little pieces here and there. Marsilio Ficino, at the very end of the 15th century, translated Plato and the Corpus Hermeticum into Latin. And this really created sort of an occult revival, which spread throughout Europe during the Renaissance. And, of course, he had his Platonic Academy in Florence, Italy, where you had Pico della Mirandola, you had all these. This was the occult renaissance of the Renaissance. Anyways, so Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa wrote the 3 books of occult philosophy in the year 1510, and these passed around in manuscript form before being printed in the year 1533. You ever read Francis Barrett's The Magus? It's based off of that quite a bit. Pretty much a rip-off, but anyways. 3 books of occult. The first book is on the elemental world. Stones, herbs, things on the earth. Book 2 of the 3 books of occult philosophy is astrology, the stars and planets. And book 3 is the angelic divine magic or ceremonial magic. Now, to understand this idea, you have to have 3 concentric circles. Let me see if I can get a pen and paper. Okay. This is the earth. Around it, you have stars and planets. You have the belief in astrology that whatever the planets and stars do manifest in the earth. And beyond that, you have a third ring, which are the angels. They believed in astrology, and the Hermetic text, Hermeticism, is primarily astrological in its outlook. Even the path of ascension and the Corpus Hermeticum and the Poimander is astrological. They believed that the planets and stars made our destiny. Okay, this is astrology. So, and behind each planet and star was the divine realm. So they believed in the divine outpouring of this energy, I guess you could say. So there's a flowing down into manifestation. So Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, Marsilio Ficino, they believed that as above, so below, this stone or this herb corresponds to this planet or star. So if you take copper, which is the metal of the planet Venus, this copper corresponds to Venus. And with this knowledge, I could inscribe a talisman and call down the power of Venus into the talisman. So astrological talismans were very important in the Renaissance. Or you know that this stone and this herb corresponds to this star. And by getting these objects and with a ritual, you could call down the power of that star or planet. Okay? And this goes into the astrological magic and the making of talismans. So from this understanding, the powers of the planets, Marsilio Ficino called the spiritus, the spirit. And the talisman is the materia, the matter. You're calling down the spirit of the planet into a talisman, which is giving it life. You're creating a living thing, in a sense. So, as above, so below. And Cornelius Agrippa talks about how herbs and stones and metals, even animals, even parts of our bodies, each correspond to a certain planet or zodiac sign. And that the occult properties of herbs and stones came from the astrological forces. Now with this knowledge, not only can you work talismans, planetary talismans, which you see in modern ceremonial magic, but with the knowledge that this connects to that planet, you can go through that planet to contact an angel. And this goes into this whole angelic astrological magic of the Renaissance. Copper connects to Venus. This elemental copper connects to the planet Venus, and through the planet Venus it connects to the archangel Anael. Okay? Or Quicksilver corresponds to the planet Mercury, and through the planet Mercury to the archangel Raphael. So, through this knowledge of the occult properties of stones and herbs and metals, gems, things like that, you could work astrological magic, and through the stars and planets, through the knowledge of astrology, you could work a divine magic to call upon the angels or upon the planetary intelligences and spirits. And this goes into the whole modern thing of making, summoning the planetary spirits and angels. So that's another way. If you have the knowledge, this goes into the whole astral magic. If you have the knowledge of what stones and herbs correspond to this planet, then you can make a ritual around that at the proper planetary day and hour to call down the power of the stars, and through that to the divine realm. Now, this was a way to harness the natural laws in nature to manifest. So that is another way of looking at it, which was very important concept in Cornelius Agrippa's magic. There are, through the knowledge of, through the law of sympathy, through the sympathies, you combine the inferiors, superiors, and inferiors. Now, the magician card and the Rider-Waite deck shows a magician holding his wand up and pointing down. He is drawing down from above and channeling that energy below, which is also the Hebrew letter Aleph, which is a Vav with a Yud on each end. The above and below. The magician connects above and below. You are a channel for directing higher forces into manifestation. Which, now also above and below, what is the symbol of the below? What's the symbol for the material world? Is the square. In geometry, the square represents the physical world, which is the four directions, the four winds, the four elements. Okay? So the square represents the finite physical world. Now the circle represents above. The circle is a symbol of the spirit, the infinite. Okay? So you have a square, the physical world, and a circle, the spiritual realm. Now the square represents the four elements, okay? And then the circle, I guess you could say, represents the zodiac band of the zodiac, or the ecliptic, which is the path of the sun and the different planets. So Aristotle noticed that the elements were apt to change one into each other, one into the other, which Agrippa talks about this. You have the moist and the dry, the hot and the cold. So he talks about how a solid earth is capable of being transmuted into a liquid, okay, through dissolution. And a liquid could be passed off into a gas, okay, and this could be ignited in fire, so that the different elements could be transmuted. And this is the circular rotation of the elements, which is used to purify a substance, okay? It is used to purify. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a tarot card that shows a wheel. And in the Renaissance, the Wheel of Fortune card was used as a symbol to represent the folly of pride and the positions of power. It showed a man going up it showed a child, a baby, going up the wheel. saying, I will reign. At the top of the wheel, it showed a king saying, I reign. The words come as I reign. Then it showed an old man going down the wheel saying, I have reigned. And then it shows an old man getting crushed at the bottom saying, I have no reign. So you see, this was a symbol in the Renaissance of the folly of pride and position, because it shows that we all die, the death card. But it shows a child saying, I will do this, a king, the middle of life, an old man, I did reign, and then being crushed under the wheel. So the wheel of fortune is the wheel of life, which, you know, in the seasons, you see spring, okay? This is the beginning of life. In the summer, you have the height of power, the hottest part of the year, most fertile. In the autumn, plants seem to die. And then in the winter, you're in the period of death. Here in the northern hemisphere, that's, well, any hemisphere, but so you see fourfold divisions of a circle. The square in the circle: spring, summer, autumn, winter. The 4 stages of life, the 4 ages of the ancient Greeks. And you have a magic circle with 4 elements: air in the east, fire in the south, water in the west, earth in the north. And this is the rotation, this is the quadrature of the circle. It is the squaring of the circle. Sorry. And in a magic circle, east is in the air. Now, to really understand this, you have to understand the ecliptic, the path of the sun. The sun rises in the east. Now at noon, the sun is not straight overhead. It's slightly to the south. This is because by the Earth's tilting on this axis. So the Earth rises in the east, not straight overhead, slightly to the south at noon, sets in the west. And at midnight, the sun's not straight under the earth. It's slightly to the north. So you see that the sun rises in the east, south at noon, west at sunset, and in the north at midnight. So you see the path of the sun, which is the elemental circle, which you see east in the air, fire, the hottest part of the day in the south. West, water, water extinguishes fire. The earth, other side of the earth, is north. So you see the squaring of the circle going back into the square as a symbol of below, and the circle, a symbol of the infinite, the spiritual, the above, which in Freemasonry you have a square and compass. Now a square makes straight edges, okay? Straight edge. That's a square. A compass is used in geometry to make a circle. So in Freemasonry, the square and compass is a square and circle, which obviously is a hexagram above and below. Or in Rosicrucian symbolism, a cross, which is 4 points, a square, and a circle, or a rose, or the sun wheel, the solar cross, a cross with a circle around it. So it's interesting. And so anyways, forgot what I was going to tie that. That's the Wheel of Fortune. One more tarot correspondence. Remember I said that the sun is its father, heat, and the moon its mother, moisture. Now in alchemy, mercury, which is a metal that's actually liquid, and sulfur, which is fire, heat, are sun and moon opposites. Now, in the Strength Tarot card, it shows Virgo, the Virgin, wrestling with a lion. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and the lion represents sulfur. So you see 2 opposing forces in the Strength card, Mercury and sulfur, alchemical symbolism. But anyways, above and below, what we send out falls down and manifests. Remember, the magician connects above and below. So whatever we're sending out comes back down and manifests to us. And You, with the knowledge of talismans, you are using this law of the downpouring from above to below, that these herbs, these stones are ruled by these higher forces connected to these angels, and with the knowledge of these sympathies and antipathies, you are able to call down higher forces to manifest within your life. Okay. And the Asclepius was a Hermetic text that describes how the Egyptians called the spirits of their gods into the statues. That's interesting. That text dates back to around the 2nd century. But anyways, so to put it at its most simplest way, whatever you send out comes back down and manifests. Okay, now from this context, it says, separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense. It ascends from the earth to heaven, and again it descends to the earth. This is whatever we're sending out falls back down and manifests. Okay? So, again, it says truth, certainty, that which in which there's no doubt. That which is above is from that which is below, and that which is below is from that which is above, working the miracles of the one, as all things were born from one, the one thing by adaptation. Its father is the sun, heat, fire. Its mother the moon, moisture. The wind carries it in its belly, the earth is its nurse. The father of all perfection in the world is here. Its power is complete if it's converted into the earth. Now, I talked about the circular model of the elements, but also there's an increasing subtlety in the series earth, water, air, fire. So its power is perfected if it's converted into earth. So this could be taken as manifesting. By this, it says, separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from earth to heaven, whatever you're sending out. And again, it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and all obscurity shall fly from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid earth thing. So was the world created. Hence I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the 3 parts of the philosophy, 3 books of occult philosophy of the whole world. So that's just one way of looking at it. Anyways, that's just a brief look at one way the Emerald Tablet could be interpreted. That's just my interpretation right now, which you hear this interpretation a lot. So, but I encourage you to read for yourself and get your own ideas on what this may mean. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Once again, this is Taliesin McKnight. Have a great day, y'all.